starting with warrior spirit means a spirit that is a living spirit that is in all of us.
Good morning to each and every one of you, good, kind relatives that came here to this gathering, this Indigenous Psychology, Warrior Spirit Indigenous Psychology Conference. My name is Calvin White. That's who I am. I'm the founder of Native Holistic Specialists Incorporated. We appreciate each and every one of you's commitment to the work in mental health and wellness and all that you do for us. We've gotten together like this to share important information that will sustain our life and the longevity of our youth and generations to come, and talk about important concepts, the warrior spirit concept, the indigenous psychology concept, the tribute to Crazy Horse, and to acknowledge and appreciate the teachings of the pipe. That's why we gathered here, all you beautiful people. So thank you for being here, and we're going to begin our program. And thankful for all the sponsors that have contributed to this conference, the Dene College and the Center for Native American Health at University of New Mexico, as well as for the Fort Defiance Indian Hospital. So with that, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the 2008 Warrior Spirit Indigenous Psychology Conference.
I'm really excited to be here. My name is Cecilia Dawson. I'm from California. I'm Pomo, Kankau, Wailaki Indian. I'm excited about the presentations that are going to be here. We have at California Tribal TANF Partnership our own spiritual wellness department. So what we'll be learning here will be taken back to at least 27 different tribes in California. So thank you very much for allowing us to attend this conference.
Good morning. My name is Julia Mitchell, and I am staff with the Native Holistic Specialists, a company owned by Dr. Calvin White, and we have been preparing for this conference since December, and this is the third conference that I've been involved with Dr. White, and this is actually our biggest crowd, so there are a lot of people here and a lot who have came on site to register, so that's really exciting. Everyone's pretty happy about it, so it's just a great feeling.
The Warrior Spirit Indigenous Psychology Conference evolved from a ceremony, and what that warrior spirit is the battle against negativity. Negativity in terms of ill health, negativity in terms of mental anguish, depression, anxiety, and all these mental health disorders. It's a battle against that. But the warrior spirit is the positive things that are happening in our life. The presence of family. Even though there's a lot of people say their family is fragmented, they still have a mother, father, brother, sister, relative somewhere. There's that presence of unity, whether the unity is with their friends, their peers, their community, in their family, that unity. So the warrior spirit concept is the energy, and you can't just have energy, you have to have a concept. When you have a concept that instills energy, energy can't be alone by itself. When you have a concept and energy, then there's a purpose. That's where this warrior spirit idea came from, is to bring back the teachings and understandings, values and ethics of our indigenous people. We have this framework that we abandoned. We have this framework that we were told that was primitive and that had no validity. This framework that meant so much to our grandmas and our grandpas, that's what they survived in this world on. That's why we're the living descendants of some of these grandpas and grandmas. So that's what this warrior spirit concept is to have our people engage that again, become acquainted with that, become re-energized and become rejuvenated, to be able to have that desire, to have that determination, good attitude, to do well for themselves, to seek positive mental health, to reach a state of positive mental health. That's what warrior spirit's about. this conference is to highlight that.
There's nothing like this going on in the country that I'm aware of. This is the psychology conference that has Native American lineup of presenters and in the audience. And it's an opportunity for people interested in spiritual, emotional, behavioral health to find out what else is going on in the country, to just learn from each other.
I'm doing a series of stories for a book featuring a small Comanche boy, about 8 or 9 years old. I wanted to write on the subject. He asked his dad, "What's a warrior?" And then he tells his dad says, "Well, it's a big subject." And he says, "Well, look, Red Dog has a sister who has a boyfriend, and she calls him her warrior. But you know, he's not nice. He's mean, and he's mean to me. And I just thought, if that's a warrior, you can have it." And his dad says, "Well, no, you know, that's not exactly what a warrior is." He says, "We have a great tradition that spiritual warriors are our heroes. They protect us." And he says, "Well, why don't you just wait and we'll have a real conversation. We'll bring Grandpa in too so he can talk with you also." Okay, so I got that far with a story, and then I said, let me look on the internet and do the search, and I came up and I hit Warrior Spirit, which is this conference. And I thought, wow, can I go? You know, I don't know, I couldn't afford to go. Then my son says, "Look, if you go, I will pay your airfare." And I said, "Oh, cool, that'll go, I'll go." So here I came, and I listened to the warrior spirit, the definition of it, which is what I was really, really looking for, the true, authentic story of the warrior and the warrior spirit. And then I found out something very interesting. You don't just have a sect, a subculture of warriors. You have people who are in service to other people, people who give their knowledge, their expertise, to help others. That's the warrior spirit.
My name is James Marcus. I'm a Lakota and White Mountain Apache. I'm from El Dorado County in California. And I heard about this conference from a colleague that I'm working with. And we're trying to put together a program for our county to address behavioral needs of Native students, prevention and intervention activities, and seemed like the perfect place to get a lot of new information and to get recharged, and so we can go back into our community and do what we need to do.
I go to a lot of conferences, and a lot of the conferences don't have the kind of spirit of traditional beliefs and out-of-the-box thinking. And it's not so much out of the box, we are the box. But you know, some people call it out-of-the-box thinking. We have professionals that come in from all over. It's nice to be able to see old friends, but also to be able to meet new friends and be able to see what kind of new things are occurring in the indigenous worlds and working with our own people.
I've been to this conference before. One of the key things about this conference that I wanted to share here is that it always brings up a lot of powerful emotion. So it's really helpful. Thank you.
Hi. Okay, my name is Shalina Bertram. I am from the Lummi Nation in Washington State, and this is my second time coming to this conference. I am a mental health counselor. I work with teenagers at home, and this is probably the only like psychology specific indigenous conference that I know about, and I think it's only every other year, so I got excited when I saw that it was the year again. I think usually the biggest thing I come home from though is the contacts that I make and the people that I meet, and just meeting people from here and there and all over the place that are doing awesome things with their communities, with their youth, and that's for me the best part of coming down here, I think.
Last year, one of my colleagues, Dr. Mauricio Moss Ferrer, came here to this conference, and he stated that it was the best conference he'd been to on these topics ever. I've looked very carefully at the agenda, and for me, the integration or the operation in parallel between Western medicine and traditional native healing methods is an absolutely critical element. Healthcare demands for Native people that we support this integrative or parallel process between Native methodologies for healing, for understanding the human condition, for diagnosis, and for helping our relatives in parallel with whatever Western medicine we use. What we have to always be aware of is that Western medicine is an imposed system. And as a result of that imposition, what you see is also the imposition of the thinking styles of the Western medical profession, which are largely linear in nature. However, in our communities and cultures, we tend to take a more holistic view of the human being and the human condition. That holistic view includes not only the physical and the use of medicine, pills, etc., but actually a view of the spiritual, the human as a spiritual being, as a physical being, as a mental being, and as a being within their community. Consequently, we tend to enjoy our healing and our diagnosis within that social context and within that holistic dimension. Much of what Native healing incorporates is spiritual in nature and immensely valuable to the patients and to the practitioners that engage in those healing practices. So as I come to a conference like this and I see very highly respected Native professionals presenting to rooms full of other Native professionals who are engaged in the healing practices and the healing arts in Indian country, I find myself very inspired by that.